So Five Nights at Freddy's was a horror movie that came out this weekend. I want to get my thoughts on it and just explain it a little bit. I need to explain it a little bit. So this movie was based off of a video game that teenagers and people really under 25 invested their time in. Now, were there some, numbers outside of that? Sure. But this was mostly for younger people as a game. Okay. So I think a lot of people our age, where your 30s, 40s, who's giving the reviews on this, where they're saying it's trash. Yeah, it's not for us. Five Nights at Freddy's was not for my generation. It's for the younger generation. So, it was mostly teens and, young teens and, 21, stuff like that, who was in the theater when I saw it. And they was going crazy. Like when the certain YouTubers made cameos, they was jumping during the scenes that I really felt wasn't scary. But you know why? Because I'm 42 and I'm used to seeing, really sickening, scary films. This was like a starter horror film. Okay, this was like, you're just getting introduced to horror. You want something that'll get you a little bit, but you're not really, that scared or not really that into it. Or, if the game made you jump, then this might make you jump. That's what this was. Okay, but this was not for people over 30. Okay, so, and it's okay. It's okay to be marketed to where it's not for us. So people saying, well, the story was trash and da-da. It wasn't good as far as horror movies were concerned. But neither was Pearl. Neither was X, and people still swear by those, and those two were trash. Okay, and let me tell you something. Blumhouse got this one right, only because this was their biggest opening weekend of a horror film ever. But Blumhouse messes up horror films all the time. Now, if they stick to something like this where it doesn't need to be too scary, doesn't need to be too gory, this is where they need to live, in films like this. Not in the more mature horror movie film, because they didn't ruin a lot of mature horror movies by basically watering it down and making it too soft for whatever reason. Not a win. That's why I say, if I ever say a film was Blumhouse, that's because Blumhouse will ruin it, put this stick on it, and then ruin it. Okay, this is where they need to live. The movie was very predictable for somebody my age, or who's seen horror movies for 20 years. Very predictable. We've seen this trope 1,000 times before. Not very scary. You're really sitting here thinking these animatronics ain't really that great. You probably could easily defeat them. It did have Matthew Lillard, which was a plus. We grew up in a time where Chuck E. Cheese and the animatronics, that was our time period. Everything don't have to be marketed towards us. Everything's not going to be marketed towards everyone. I mean, spoiler alert, you know what I'm saying? But it's really not. You got to give this movie 2 reviews and 2 ratings. For people over 30, this ain't for you. It's probably a 3. People under 30, under 25, I would say it's an 8 to a 9. You're probably going to want to see this film, especially if you like the teen movies and stuff like that. This is for you, okay? So you got to give it 2 separate ratings for this, because nobody over my age really needs to be really invested into this. If it's on, it's on. If it's not, it's not. And it just is what it is. But I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Am I right? Are other people wrong? What do you think about the movie? Was it just bad in general? Let's talk about it, all right?